Hi, I'm Ruth Gerson, and I created the Singingbelt mostly for the students in my classes because I didn't have enough hands to go around to everyone and hold them where they needed to be held to understand how to keep their diaphragm flexed and use their breath. And I knew once people started putting them on, the big reactions that everybody had, that this was something I wanted to share with singers and musicians and athletes and dancers, everyone who needs to use diaphragmatic breath support. But we're going to work on singing, and we're going to not only work on breath, but we'll work on all the mechanics of singing. We'll talk about breath placement. Once you have the air and you're holding the air, then where to place it in your mouth to keep it from moving around. If the air moves around in your mouth, then your notes are going to waver. We'll talk about the positioning of the mouth and the tongue and the jaw and the lips and the posture. Anytime we too radically change our posture, we may cut ourselves off, which in performance, anything is allowable. We do anything we want in performance to express ourselves. But as we develop the voice, we want to have the right posture, and we want to practice with a full voice. Again, when you sing and you perform, you may use a whispery voice, you may use a gravelly voice, but when you are developing your pitch and your support, we want to use a full voice. So we will talk about support, placement, and positioning. Those are the three things you should think about as a singer all the time until you never have to think about it again, because you know it like you know how to ride a bicycle. So let's start with the idea of support, because the voice is a wind instrument and it begins and ends with the breath. We think that, oh, I have to breathe, but you have to breathe, but you have to also not give your air away, blow your air out. That's one of the biggest things that singers do. If you think of a balloon and it's filled with air and you spread apart the lip and you get that squeaky sound, it's all that air underneath. That air is the support, it's the energy. It supplies the pressure, the air pressure, for a small amount of air to make that sound as it vibrates the lip of the balloon. It's the same with your voice. It's all the air kept in your lungs that we release a small, resistant, steady, even breath, and it vibrates the vocal cords to make a sound. If you blow that air away, you're going to go sharp. If you give up all your air, then you'll go flat. If you think of the balloon, if it's only half full, you can't even get a sound. You have to have all that air. So how do we get that air? How do we keep that air and use that air? The first part is thinking about the diaphragm, and it really helps to look at it. It is a giant muscle sheath. It's not a little thing. It nearly cuts your body in half. Your lungs and heart are up here, and one of its functions is to actually protect the lungs and heart from the kidneys and the livers and the intestine in case anything happens. And when we have natural breathing, when we speak, we don't think about it. The diaphragm naturally, involuntarily moves up and down, and as it flexes, it draws air into the lungs. It creates a vacuum, brings the air in, and then as it contracts, it expresses the air. What we want to do is we want to keep that air in our lungs, so we don't want to let it go. So we're going to expand the lower part of the rib cage using our intercostal muscles here and our lateral muscles in the back, because you'll see on the other side, the back can really help you breathe and hold your breath. And also what's connected here, which you don't see in this picture, are all the abdominal wall muscles, which are connected to your ribs and also help you keep that expansion, keep that spread. What the Singingbelt does, where you wear the Singingbelt, is right across here and scooping downward around here so that you have the flexibility to move the belt depending on your size and where your diaphragm is. So you have that flexibility that the second belt should come up this way but not constrict your abdominal wall muscles. That's really important because you want to be able to expand and hold and use your belly without feeling any kind of constriction, but you also want to be able to feel the constriction of the belt, which you'll see. We're about to put it on in a moment. You'll see the belt, when you hold, you'll feel the belt tight and you'll know, okay, I've got my air. And what you'll know also immediately is, I let my air go, which is, again, what we're working not to do. I think the best thing now is to probably just go put the belt together and put it on and get started.